Today we'll be going over 3 ways you can flip over the spectator's cards and turn it into a routine. Let's get started. Now in today's video we'll be using the Shin Lim White Regalia playing cards. So if you want a great website to buy playing cards from, check out the link in the description. So the first one of the 3 ways is going to look like this. The first thing is I'll actually show you how the trick works, and then we'll do the tutorial on it. So let's just say this is the card that is selected. So you show it to your spectator. It is the King of Hearts. Take the King of Hearts, bury it somewhere in the middle of the deck, say about there. Then you go 1, 2, 3 like that. And then the only card that is facing the other direction is their card, the King of Hearts. Or you can do it where you put the card behind, the whole deck behind your back. So let's say we did it this way. So let's say we chose a card at random. Say it's this deck this time. Not this deck, this card. So here's the card. We have the 10 of spades. So you'd put this here, and then I'd say I'm going to take out one card at random out of the middle of the deck, flip it over, and hoping it's your card. So I take the deck, put it behind my back, flip over one card, and then show you the one card is your card, the 10 of spades. Now, how to do this trick. What you're going to want to do is on the bottom half, you need to know that the bottom card needs to be flipped over. Now, how to flip over the bottom card without the spectator noticing that it gets flipped like that. What you're going to want to do is, your hand's going to be like this, covering up the card. You're going to hold it in this position, so it's almost a mechanic's grip, because if your index is going to be on the back. If you don't know the grips tutorial, check out that link right there. But you're here, then you're going to lift up the deck, just like this. Just lift it up. There you have that gap there. Then you're going to flip over the card like this, and that will be covered up by your hand on this side, right here, that you basically have in this position, and then you can just slide it back onto the deck. So I'm here. So from the side view, it's going to look like this. I can do that without you noticing, just like this, and you would never see anything happen. Once you have that bottom card flipped like this, you're going to have the spectator select a card, and let's say it is the 8 of clubs. But while they're looking at the 8 of clubs, you're going to flip over the deck. So I just did that on camera, which is much harder, as I just flipped over the card here and I covered up the deck for a second. But make sure they're looking at their card and memorizing their card, and that's when you'll just flip it over. So that will leave you with a bunch of face up cards and one face down card. You can bury that card somewhere in the middle. You don't need to get a break or anything. Then you can either do a Cardini change, which is what I did the first time, where it just looks like this. I will do a tutorial on that eventually. Before we get into that, if you don't know how to do a Cardini change, then you can just take the cards, put them behind your back, take this, flip it over as your one card. Make sure to give that little flicking sound that one of the cards flipped over. Bring it back out, and then you can go through showing that there's one card, only one card, and that it's their card. And that is all for the first version on how to flip over their card in the middle of the deck. Before we get into number 2, make sure to hit that thumbs up button. So for number 2, what we're going to do is we're going to make it a little bit more fair. So the thing is, for number 2, like on the first one, we had the deck face down, and I kind of put it behind my back and did a color change, depending on which one we're talking about. This one, I'm not going to do either of those. I'm not going to do a color change. I'm not going to put it behind my back. And we're going to have the deck face up. So, the freely selected card again. So let's say we use the King of Hearts once more. King of Hearts is our selected card. So we have the King of Hearts here. And we bury it somewhere in the middle of the deck. Now let's make sure the card is not near the top, that it actually is buried and not near the top. No King of Hearts. Let's say about that many maybe. That should work. So look for the King of Hearts, King of Diamonds, King of Spades, Queen of Hearts, but I see no King of Hearts. Now what happens is if you give it a little cut like that, you turn over the deck like this, your card flips over right there. So let's get into how to do the second version of this trick. So what you're going to do is you're going to start off in this routine, in this 3-part routine, by saying you're going to make it a little bit more fair. So you'll turn the deck face up, you'll do the same thing, but instead you'll do it with 2 cards. So you'll just catch a little thumb break here. You can just do that by riffling back and popping those 2 cards back in your left hand, and then just turning that over. And I'll show you why you need 2 instead of 1 in a second. Then freely selected card. So let's say the Queen of Hearts is selected. Then really talk about the Queen of Hearts so they forget this top card, because they're going to see that once more. So once they have this Queen of Hearts here, you're going to catch a break here. This is called the double undercut or triple undercut. You're going to get this here, and I'll teach this more in depth another time. So you have this here, then you're just going to take packets, putting it on top while maintaining that break. So once you've controlled that card to the bottom, you'll have that and then the 2 face down cards next to it. And that will be how you're set up. Then you'll just go through like 10 or 15 cards showing that it's not there, which of course it won't be. Then once you flip it back over, you'll take about 15-20 cards, flip it over here. But what that's doing is, that's leaving this. So once you'll take all these, you go through them, and this will be the card that they see, thinking it's this one. The reason you need 2 is because in case you're sliding through and you're just going so fast and you accidentally push one off, there's still another one there to back you up. And you'll flip this one over, and the trick is already done. That is how you do the second version of this trick. Before we get to number 3, please make sure to subscribe and ring the bell so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. So number 3 is going to be like this. It's a very casual move. So let's say you select the Queen of Hearts again, you go through, bury it somewhere in the middle. So it's here, buried in the middle of the deck. Take it, put it in the middle of the fan, put it in there, shuffle up the deck. Doesn't really matter how you get rid of the card, just matters that you do. So, card is completely gone. Doesn't matter. I'm going to give it a few card springs. Many different things you can do with this, but the thing is, what I actually just did was I flipped over the card right there. Now, these cards are very stiff, so it is a little bit more difficult to do this with. You want more of a soft deck. These cards are very new and really nice. So this is a little bit of a harder deck to do this with, and I'll show you how to do that right now. So what you're going to want to do, take out their card. So we're using the 7 of Spades. Control it to the bottom however you want. So it's here. First I just did this to control it to the top. Controlled that to the top there. Then I shuffled it to the bottom, but there's many controls out there that you can learn on YouTube, and I'll be showing you one really soon as one of my tutorials. I'll be showing you actually both of those to get to the bottom and the one I used to get to the top. But for now, just use one of the ones you already know. Or use the one that we used earlier when we control it to the bottom. By getting a break here, you can just take their card, put it on top, get that break, and then move it to the bottom like that. Once you have that card there, you're going to get in your card spring position. Now, if you don't know how to do a card spring, definitely look up a tutorial, or I will be teaching that in one of my really upcoming videos, because the card spring is definitely an essential move for every magician and cardist. So you have this here. Now for the card spring, you have it in your thumb and middle fingers. You're in this corner grip. So you're in this corner grip here. You're going to slide off this to the side and bring it up like this. So this is where you'll be. Now you're going to want to hide that from your spectator. This is a little bit harder with small hands because clearly this does come out. This does make it a lot harder for both me and other people with small hands, but if you have big hands, or it does partially work with small hands, but definitely you want a deck of cards that either is bridge sized or is just not as snappy. So, definitely a thinner stock card would be nice. So you're here, you're going to push that over to the side and get that there, just like this. And once you have this card over here, just like this, you're going to start your spring. Now let's say once you get about halfway through the deck, you should have the card basically in your left hand at this point. You can just drop that down and then finish out your spring on top of it. So I'll do that a little bit better. So you're here, you're going to move this over here like this. And you're really going to have the control less of your right hand and more of your left, because that's going to be the hand that drops this over. Now you will want to do a quick stop. That doesn't happen. You don't turn over 2 cards. Get them unbent for a second. So you're here. Move this over. Card spring. Turn it over. And then you finish out your card spring. Now another thing you don't want to do is when you're doing the card spring, if you're doing it really big, then people will be able to see that you're holding this card over here because of how big your card spring is. They'll be able to see that. But if you start small, you're here, they won't see it. Flip that over. Then you can go big after that. So once you get to that second half, do a couple cards in the second half. So you're here, flip that there, do a couple cards, and then you can make it big after that. Now the spectator doesn't notice, and this is really something to be more like an offbeat type of thing. So this is supposed to be something where you just do card springs throughout your routines, and you're doing it in between tricks. It's just something that you should get accustomed to as a magician, just doing card springs over and over. That at one time it doesn't look like, oh, this is some new thing. They've already got their mind accustomed to this new trick. So they just see another card spring, and then boom, the next thing they know is there's a card flipped over. So that is number 3. Thank you guys for sticking around to the end of the video. If you did like it, make sure to give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and ring the bell so you don't miss anything. If you want to watch another one of my videos, click it right there. And if you want to subscribe, click right down there. Thanks guys for watching. This is Card Perfect, signing off.